Hmm. Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to drboystv.com, the home for intelligent black people. My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I know that I'm chiming in at an odd hour. Sometimes I do that because I can, and I like to talk to you guys whenever the spirit moves me. So I'm sitting here and I'm reading this article about Usain Bolt. Usain Bolt, the fastest man on earth. He's probably still the fastest man on earth. He just doesn't sprint anymore. It turns out that he lost all of his money. According to a lot of media sources, Usain lost about 99% of his entire investment portfolio practically overnight. All these millions of dollars, he had $12.8 million in his account, and that amount dropped down to about $12,000. So Usain Bolt has pretty much lost everything, at least in terms of his investment portfolio, if you were to believe the media. Now, the company that is allegedly responsible for this fraud, Jamaica Securities. Give me 1 second. I'm going to switch screens. Let me know if you can still hear me. Okay. Give me a yes if you can still hear me. I believe the company is called. Sorry, my mic disappeared for a second. I hope you guys can still hear me. Let me know if you can still hear me okay. I just want to make sure I'm coming through okay. Sorry about that. Thank you, Dream Apparel, for telling me. I appreciate that. Yeah, so Usain Bolt pretty much lost all of his wealth, or all of his investment wealth. Now, he may have some real estate and some other assets so that he's not, completely destitute. I'm assuming that that's the case. And Usain, throughout his career, I mean, he was an amazing guy. I'm a big track and field fan. So I followed Usain Bolt's career very closely, and I can just tell you, as a former track coach, which I coached some kids in the hood back in my hometown in Louisville. I love those kids, and I was also captain of my track team in high school. As a track coach, I can tell you, Usain was just a once in a generation kind of athlete. He set world records that won't be broken for quite a while, if ever. I don't know how anybody can run the 200 meters in 1919. I just think that's kind of a crazy time. But anyway, for him to work that hard and kind of lose everything out of the blue, 99% of his wealth, that's kind of crazy. Now, Roland says it's 12 billion USD, but 1.8 billion in Jamaican money. Really? Wow, I didn't know that. Okay, yeah. So here's what I wanted to share with you guys about this. Right. One thing I've mentioned to you guys, and I talked about this when people broke over the Sam Bankman-Fried situation. A lot of people had all their money in FTX and lost it all. One thing I was telling you guys is that one of the most important rules of investing is to diversify. You got to spread your money out. You can't put your money in one place, even in one brokerage account. I have several brokerage accounts that have pieces of my money. I have different assets that have pieces of my money. I don't put all my money in one place. If you put it all in one location, then all people have to do is hit that one location. And I don't care what bank it is. I don't care how secure their servers are. I don't care how sophisticated the technology claims to be. I don't care if it's blockchain and how impenetrable the blockchain system is and all this other crap they tell you. It ain't unhackable until it becomes hackable. It's not unbreakable until somebody breaks it. When people tell you it's impenetrable, that's when somebody penetrates it. And then they say, oh, sorry, we thought it was impenetrable. So don't believe it. When somebody says, oh, your money's completely safe because we've got a blah, blah, blah security system and it's encrypted with the blah, 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 and the blah, man, whatever. Spread my money out. My money spread out, and I don't know what Bolt's other financial situation is. I know that he was smart, financially. I mean, this dude made $31 million 1 year, and I think only 1 million of those 31 million came from running track. And he was the fastest man in history. Of this dude was extraordinary as a sprinter, and I would hate to hear that all that hard work went down the drain. They're talking about fraud. There's a former employee with this bank that Bolt had his money in. There's a former employee that ended up being charged with fraud, and I'm wondering if anybody took his money. I wonder if there were some bad investments. That's another way I've seen a lot of I've seen a lot of athletes go broke because they get with somebody and somebody convinces them to put their whole life savings into one investment. That's another bad idea. That's another way to lose your money. So let me see here. Blade Brown says a Jamaican blogger has uncovered this. Even the prime minister of Jamaica has connected the guys that stole Usain Bolt's money. Well, nobody knows. I mean, I'm not going to say that's not possible. Who knows? I mean, the corruption is everywhere. But I will say, generally speaking, that whenever I hear about somebody losing all their wealth at one time, and I do the forensics on it, typically it's because they didn't follow the rules of smart investing. Anyway, in fact, actually, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button real quick. Could you guys please hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button? And this is drboystv.com, the home for intelligent Black people. If you would like to learn how to generate income by selling stock options, we have a great program called Dr. Boy's Prime. It stands for Passive Recurring Income Machine. If you would like to join us, we're going to have class soon, and it's a good way to generate income from your stocks without having to sell them. So if you're interested, just go to drboysprime.com and just take a look. I think you're going to like it. I met a brother the other day who told me that he was struggling financially when he joined our programs, and now he and his wife are buying a house for cash, $700,000 cash. So, and another student made $250,000 last week. Now, not all students make this kind of money, of course, but it's a good way to, put yourself in a position where, the big opportunities are out there. And this is exactly how I make my money. So feel free to go to drboysprime.com. All right. So Gene, I see you said I'm getting a flashcard. Yeah. Thank you for being a part of what we're doing. And we will make you happy. We'll make 100% sure that you get everything that you're looking for and then some. All right, so here's the thought. Okay, so let me give you guys. So now don't make this a long podcast. Let me give you guys kind of the 4 steps to building wealth. You ready? Give me a yes in the chat if you are ready for me to give you the 4 steps to getting rich and staying that way. Getting rich is one thing. Staying rich is another thing. Just because you got rich don't mean you're gonna stay rich. Just ask a lot of rappers. Getting rich does not mean you're gonna stay rich. So I want to make sure you're clear about that. A lot of people get money, and if you're a sucker, then you're gonna lose your money. I'm not saying Usain Bolt's a sucker. I'm not calling him a sucker at all, but he did lose all his money, and I think somebody made a mistake. So give me a yes if you want the 4 steps to getting rich and staying that way. All right, here we go. Write it down. Number one, you must be financially literate. You must understand where the money's at. If you don't know where the money's at, then how are you gonna get the money? Like, if I want to win a Super Bowl, I probably need to learn how to play football. If I don't learn how to play football, then how in the hell am I going to even know what a football looks like, what the goals of the game are, what the rules are, how to get down the field? If I don't know how to play football and I show up at a football game, then if somebody hands me the ball, I'm going to throw it right back to the defense, or I'm going to run straight to the sideline, or I'm going to lay on the ground or do something weird because I don't know what to do. So a lot of people get the ball. Instead of getting the ball, they get the bag, and you get the bag and you're supposed to run to the end zone, but they don't know to run to the end zone. They hand the ball to the defense. The money ends up in the hands of white people and people that have financial intelligence. So you've got to understand money and know when the money's at. People who understand money tend to have it. People who don't understand money tend to want it and not have it. Number two, you must make a plan. Once you become financially intelligent and you learn the landscape and you learn where the opportunities are and how money works, then you figure out, okay, what plan works for me? What's going to be my hustle? What's going to get me my first million? Is it going to be real estate? Is it going to be starting a business? Is it going to be selling sea moss out of my kitchen? Is it going to be going to law school? Is it going to be buying stocks? What's my play going to be? Is it going to be all of the above? Is it going to be my family business? Is it going to be a family investment group? Is it going to be a landscaping business? Like, what is going to be my play, right? And that's when you make your plan. So and especially if you get married or have kids or have family, you make a plan with your family. Me and my wife make wealth plans all the time. We have a couple of businesses that we're going into together, and I love doing business with my wife. I love the fact that I have a wife who understands it, who's a hustler too. So you got to make a plan. So one, you get financially intelligent, learn where the money's at. Two, make a plan to go get it. Three, separate yourself from the pack. A lot of people get the information and then they make a plan and then don't have the discipline to execute that plan. Execution is everything, because all wealth is it's an accumulation process. It's taking little bits of money that you receive in income and taking a piece of that income and consistently pouring it into a bucket, and then eventually you have wealth. Income is the water coming out of the faucet. Wealth is the water that's in the bucket. So ultimately, if you want to have wealth, you have to have an accumulation process. You have to have a plan. You have to know what's going on. You have to make the right. You have the knowledge to make the right plan. Then you have to make the plan. Then you have to execute to work the plan. And as you work the plan, you're consistently doing the same thing over and over and over again. And then one day you wake up and you're rich. Number four, this is the big one. This is where Bolt might have got himself in trouble. Number four is, once you get the wealth, once you have learned where the money's at, and set the plan up and work the plan, well, now you're sitting on a whole bunch of money. Now you're playing a different game. It's like football. There's a way you play when you're trying to catch up, and there's a way you play once you have a 3 touchdown lead. Once you have a 3 touchdown lead, you're not really playing so much offense. You're playing defense. You're not throwing the ball down the field anymore. You're just running the clock out. You're running the ball. You're trying to stop the other team. You play. So ultimately, wealthy people have to play defense. And a lot of black wealth gets destroyed because wealthy black people, a lot of them do not play defense. Defense includes all the things necessary that you have to do to protect your wealth. It is not for it's not a sucker's game. If you don't know what's going on, then believe me, if you are an uneducated person, an unfinancially intelligent person who doesn't have good advisors, and you get access to a lot of wealth, a smart person will come along and take you for every penny you got. That smart person might be doing something legal and use the rules to take your money, or that person might do something illegal and use street rules to take your money. You ever know what I'm talking? I mean, if you don't believe me, go through the hood shining. Ask, I heard even if you take it to the hood, I saw a guy named Charleston White do a video about Nipsey Hussle, and he felt that Nipsey might have gotten possibly killed. I'm not sure. I'm not going to speak on it too much, but that because he didn't have the protection he needed, that he was in a space where there was maybe some jealousy and people saw what he had. So you go through the hood shining, then bad things can happen. So same thing can happen though if you're shining on top of a hill. If you're out in the suburbs shining, people will come up to you, they will scam you, they will sue you, they will manipulate you, they will get you to put your money into faulty investments. They will play the game in a way where they're going to take your wealth. Or white folks took black folks' wealth. You might have worked your whole life and saved up all this money for land that you're going to leave to your kids. Well, then they use the rules against our ancestors. They'd lock them up and then take their land while they were in jail, or they would get them on the taxes. A lot of people lose their homes because they didn't pay the taxes, right? Like there's always something. Not having life insurance, or not the medical system takes your, well, there's some drugs out here that cost $25,000 a month, and you work your whole life, you build up some wealth, then you get sick and you're not properly prepared with insurance, and next thing you know, the Medicare system has taken all your wealth, right? So ultimately, the protection of wealth is really important. You have to even how you raise your kids. If you're a person that's got money, you got to teach your kids to not be stupid, because 70% of all wealthy families lose all their wealth in one generation. So everything they work for disappears as if it never happened, as if it didn't matter. Then 90% of all wealthy families lose their wealth within 2 generations. So smart, wealthy families spend an extraordinary amount of time playing defense and learning how to protect the money. They monitor who their children marry. They make sure their kids understand how wealth works. They introduce their children to the family investment banker. These seem like extreme measures, but believe me, when you got 20 million and you're sitting on it, you're trying to protect it, and you're trying to make sure your kids never have to work again. Well, you're protecting the family livelihood. So that does require some effort. That does require some diligence. So those are the 4 steps to becoming wealthy. One, understand how the game is played, learn how wealth is, learn where the money's at. Number 2, make a plan. Number 3, execute the damn plan. Number 4, protect what you got. Protect the ball. Once you get the ball, you got to protect it. So Usain Bolt, I mean, I hope that this isn't most of his wealth. I mean, I'm going to make the assumption that he's got, a few $1 million in real estate, maybe a few $1 million in another brokerage account. Maybe he's got a substantial income. He owns a part of a sports team. I know that. So I'm going to make the assumption that Usain's not broke. But if he is broke, he's not an old guy. I don't think Usain's 35 years old yet, if I'm not mistaken. He retired kind of early. I wish he hadn't retired because I love watching him sprint. So who knows? Maybe he'll be back on that track. getting his money back. I mean, Lord knows they pay a lot of money to see him sprint. The gap was great. And I hate to hear that this happened to him. But ultimately, if he's got all his money in one place, well, you're kind of asking for it. I've never, ever, ever in my life put all my assets in one location. I don't do that. I don't do that. So but I'm not saying that Usain was stupid or anything like that. I mean, of course, I'm supposed to understand some of these things. I mean, my PhD's in finance, so I guess that gives me a little bit of an advantage. Maybe I'm the Usain Bolt of finance. Dun 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 dun. Anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Thumbs up, share, subscribe if you haven't done it yet. If you go to boycewatkins.com, you can feel free to you can learn stock options. We do a lot of stuff with stock options, training, stuff like that. We even also have financial flashcards for children. So feel free to go to financialflashcards.com. We got some new flashcards on real estate and also credit. So if you want to teach these things to your kids, we'd love to help you in the Black Business School. We have helped over 10 million of our people buy their first share of stock, invest in real estate, and do all kinds of amazing things. So feel free to participate. We'd love to help you. We are better than whatever college you went to. I know this because I know how good our experts are. Just give us a chance. We will rock your world. I guarantee it. So feel free to go to boycewatkins.com to learn more. Love you guys. Have a good night. I'll talk to you soon. Take care now. Peace.